Hello, welcome to our Elopement webinar. I'm Tara DeVore, Autism Training Specialist at the University of Missouri's Thompson Center. Today, I will help you understand why individuals with autism may be prone to elopement and how they can be supported. Here's an overview of the topics this video will cover. We will start by reviewing some of the common characteristics of autism. Then I will discuss what elopement is and how to prevent elopement, as well as what to do if elopement occurs. Characteristics of autism. The bolded characteristics on this slide are characteristics of autism that could cause an individual to elope. Some of those characteristics include difficulty expressing wants and needs, curiosity, a lack of understanding of danger, poor impulse control, an inappropriate response or no response to sound. For example, if a child is unable to express their wants and needs, they might elope in order to get something they want. Another example could be a lack of understanding of danger. If an individual does not understand that something is dangerous and they have poor impulse control, they might do what they want to do without thinking about the danger. So what is elopement? Elopement is the act or instance of leaving a safe area or safe premises, to escape, to leave without permission. Wandering is moving from place to place without a plan, meandering, aimless, or random movement. Elopement occurs in a variety of settings, even with adult supervision. There is an increased risk for elopement in individuals who are more impacted by their autism. Children with autism are 4 times more likely to elope than typically developing peers. Between the ages of 7 to 10, they are 8 times more likely to elope than their peers. 49% of children with autism engage in elopement behavior, with a substantial number at risk for bodily harm. Why do kids elope? Typically, when a child elopes, there can be several reasons why they might do that. To get to something of interest, they can be especially drawn to water. They might elope to get away from something that is bothersome or uncomfortable. Times for increased opportunity of elopement include activities with large groups where they might not have constant supervision, and outside play during the warmer months of the year. The dangers of wandering. Accidental drownings, exposure to the elements, including dehydration and hypothermia, traffic injuries, falls, encounters with strangers, and encounters with law enforcement. So what can you do to help your child who has a history of elopement? First, secure your home. If we can prevent a child from eloping in the first place, it takes care of some of the dangers that come with elopement. Some ways you can secure your home include keyless entry deadbolt locks, having a home security system, inexpensive battery-operated alarms on doors or windows that alert when opened, hook and eye locks on doors above the child's reach, a fenced-in yard, and having stop signs on doors, windows, and other exits to prompt the child to recognize that they need to stop before going out. Here are some examples of some of those options to use to secure your home. There's examples of the stop signs, the key and eye locks, some door and window alarm chimes, and different door locks. Another important tip is to create a supervision plan for the child. So what does supervision look like? You need to think about all of the settings that a child might be in and what kind of supervision they need when they're in that space. So if they're in the living room, they need to be in the line of sight of an adult. If they're in their bedroom, they need to be checked on every minute or every few minutes. If they're in the backyard, they need to be in the line of sight of the adult. And if they are in an unfamiliar event out in the community, then maybe they need to have hands-on with an adult, holding hands, or some other way of keeping them close. Make sure that each person knows what is expected of them for supervision and who is in charge of the supervision for that individual, and kind of using that tag your it approach, where if one person has been monitoring the individual but needs to, say, use the bathroom, then they explicitly need to say to the other person that they are now in charge. So that way there's no pause in the supervision. Don't forget unique situations and environments. So when you are planning to leave home for an event, thinking through who is going to be the lead supervisor and how you're going to approach that event. There are also options for tracking devices on the market now. Two of the most common ones are the AngelSense and the GeoBit. Both of these options have unique features and they work as tracking devices for your child. There are fees associated with each of these devices. However, they do help to monitor and keep your child safe. Wearables. 1/3 of children with autism who wander and elope are not able or rarely able to communicate their name, address, or phone number. So by having a wearable for your child, they can find help easier. Hopefully they can share their parents' name and phone number, so that way they can be returned as quickly as possible. Autism service dogs. There are opportunities now for families to have autism service dogs who can help increase the safety of the child. A autism service dog is trained to act as an anchor to help stop elopement. The dog can wear a vest with a strap that goes around the child's waist. The vest has a handle for the child to hold and a leash for the adult to hold. If the child lets go of the dog to wander away, the dog will drop to the ground to stop the child from getting too far before the parent or caregiver can intervene. This can help reduce stress for the family, and it also can improve social interactions for the child. Water safety is very important to practice for autistic individuals because they can be drawn to water. It's important that you explicitly teach that swimming is for pools. If you own a pool, make sure there is a fence with a self-closing gate. Ask your neighbors to also have their pool closed in. And keep the toys out of the pool when it's not being used. Swimming lessons are an important part of autism safety. Accidental drownings account for approximately 90% of wandering-related deaths in children with autism. One tip is to practice swimming with clothes and shoes on, because in an emergency event, they might find themselves in water with their clothes and shoes on, and to know what to do and how to get themselves safely out of the water if that happens. Before a situation of elopement arises, it's a good tip to already have Smart 911. You can sign up for Smart 911 and add information you want responders to know in case of an emergency. The service is free and private. When an event occurs, you want to make sure that you have a recent photo. Some information that others might need is what their name is and if they will or will not respond to their name, a physical description, emergency contact information, your preferences, and your method of communication. A personal emergency profile helps first responders to know who it is that they're looking for and what kind of needs they might have. So on this form, you would have all critical information in one place or in one document. Have the names of media outlets and contacts, law enforcement phone numbers, a list of preferred activities and locations, know where there are bodies of water near your home or frequented areas. Identify a point person other than your family who can kind of stay in contact with law enforcement, and identify the first alert team. Don't forget to update your information annually or more often if needed, so that way, in the case of an emergency, all of your information is correct and up to date. Executing your emergency plan. So if your child is to elope from your care, you should call 911 immediately and have your emergency plan and information materials ready. Alert them to sources of water in the area because those are going to be the areas you'll want to search first. You want to request an Amber Alert as well as request the National Crime Information Center file a missing person report. You will want to alert local media and contact your point person and alert team to what is happening so everyone can start searching. Prior to an elopement event, you should also prepare your child for how they can be prepared if they were to find themselves lost. You can do that by continuing to teach social skills. Some of those skills might be answering social questions like, what's your name? How old are you? What's your address and phone number? Some of these might be very hard to learn quickly. It might take a lot of practice and repetition to learn them, but continuing to practice them is very important. Have your child carry an ID card. Know where they should keep it and remembering to have it on them so that way they can use it if they need it. And teaching them to ask for help, identifying situations that they need help in, yelling for their mom, their dad, their caregiver. If they are lost in the community, locating a woman or adult and say, I am lost, so that way they can find help. We often say to teach a child to go up to a woman because women are more likely to help and less likely to take advantage versus another adult or another child. Thank you for joining us for our webinar today. Here are some links to our webinar library on our Thompson Center website. Make sure you follow us on Facebook to hear about all of our upcoming events. The Thompson Center also hosts a podcast, Supporting the Spectrum. Supporting the Spectrum is available anywhere you listen to podcasts. Again, thank you for joining us today. I am Tara DeVore. If you have any questions or comments about this webinar, please feel free to email me at the email on your screen. Hello.